I want to be honest with you about something before we start. I'm not someone who already quit and is looking back from the other side, telling you how easy it was. I'm in the middle of it. I'm building the exit right now. And that's exactly why I want to talk about this today. Because I'm close enough to the problem to remember what is actually or what it actually feels like. And I have done enough research, enough thinking, enough wrong moves to have a clear picture of what the bad actually looks like. And here is the first thing I want to say. Most of the content about quitting your 9 to 5 and achieving freedom is either a fantasy or a sales pitch. It skips the part where you have to actually build something before you leave. It makes it sound like a decision when it's actually really a planning. Freedom is not something you escape to, it's something you construct deliberately, patiently, in parallel with the life you are currently living, until the thing you build is strong enough to hold your weight. So, today's question: how do you actually buy your freedom? Before the framework, three things that most freedom content never says, but that I think you need to hear. First, most people who quit their 9 to 5 did not achieve freedom. They just changed the boss. They went from one employee to 10 clients. They traded a predictable salary for unpredictable income and constant anxiety about where the next payment is coming from. That's not freedom. That's just a different kind of stress with no sick pay. Real freedom requires income that is either scalable, passive, or both. A freelance hustle trading time for money is not the destination. Second, the timing of quitting is almost always wrong. People quit too early before the thing they are building generates consistent income because they are running away from discomfort rather than toward something solid. Emotional coaching feels like freedom for about 3 weeks and then becomes a financial emergency. The right time to quit is when staying would cost you more than living, and not before. Third, freedom without structure collapses. The 9 to 5 you hate also gives you something you probably don't appreciate yet: forcing function, deadlines, rhythm, external accountability. People who quit without building their own structure often find themselves less productive, less motivated, and more anxious than they were before. Freedom requires more self discipline than employment, and not less. So, what does the real path look like? Here is the framework. I call it the exit architecture. Five things you need to build in order before the exit is real. First, define your freedom number. Not I want to be rich, but a specific monthly number that covers your life: rent, food, health, savings, and fun without a salary. Most people have never calculated this honestly, so do it. It's almost always smaller than you fear. I think for most people in Europe, it's something like between 2,500 and 4,000 euros per month. That's your target. Everything else is built around hitting it. Number two, build a 12-month runway. So before you quit, you need 12 months of expenses saved and accessible, not invested, liquid. This is not the emergency fund from episode 5. This is your transition fund. It buys you time to build without the pressure of survivor forcing bad decisions. And without this, you are not existing, you are jumping with no parachute. Number three, build one income stream to 30% of your freedom number before quitting. This is the step most people skip and why most exists fail. You need proof of concept before you commit. One income stream, a skill you freelance, a product you sell, or content that monetized, a service you offer, generating at least 30% of your freedom number consistently for at least 3 months. That's your first proof that the model works. You are not waiting for 100% before quitting, but 0% is not enough either. Number four, build assets that work without you. Trading time for money is a sailing. Real freedom requires at least one asset that generates income whether you show up or not. This could be digital products, content that earns ad revenue or sponsorships, investments, for example, generating passive income, or a business with systems that don't require you daily. You don't you, you don't need this before you quit, but you need to be actively building it because the goal is not just to leave the job, it's actually to stop selling your time entirely. Number five, set a quit date, then work backwards. Vague plans stay vague forever. So pick a date 12, 18, 24 months from now, write it down, then reverse engineer what needs to be true by that date. Runway, saved income stream at X number, assets started, etc. Now you have a plan, not a dream. The date creates the urgency, and the urgency changes your daily decisions. Here is the thing I want to leave you with before this takeaway. Freedom is not the absence of work. Every person I have seen who actually built a free life works. Most of them work harder than they did when they were employed. What changed is not the effort, what changed is the ownership. They work on things they choose, they keep the value they create, and they decide when, where, and how they work. And that's the difference, actually. And the 9 to 5 isn't the enemy. The enemy is the trap of staying in it indefinitely by default. Not because you choose it, but because you never built anything else. The job can be a tool, so use it. Take the income, build the runway, develop the skills, and test the model. Then leave on your own terms, not because you are desperate, not because you are angry, but because what you built is ready to hold you. And that's what I'm working on right now. And if you are working toward it too, then this episode was for both of us. Three things. Do them this week. Not eventually, but this week. Number one, calculate your freedom number, your exact monthly burn rate multiplied by 1.3. Write it down. That's the target everything is built around. 2. Open a separate account and label it as exit fund. Transfer whatever you can into it this month, even if it's small. The account existing and being named changes your psychology around it. Number 3, identifying one skill or asset you already have that someone would pay for. Not a business plan, just one thing: a skill, a service, a piece of knowledge, something you could test in the next 90 days without quitting anything, without investing money you don't have, without a perfect plan, just a test. Those three things, done honestly, will tell you more about your actual exit timeline than any amount of planning or dreaming ever will. See you in the next one.